and welcome to the Beat 'em Up Wrestling AEW Dynamite. This is the last Dynamite of September. We are officially in Halloween season.
Whoop, whoop.
I was gonna say, or Christmas time, but I don't really know how many days till Christmas, because usually this is the time where you get all the Christmas.
Oh no, it's already out there. Like it's seriously already out there. Like we went to the store and it's like the Overlook Halloween. They're already putting out turkey stuff, and it's like Jesus, just stop already.
Yep.
But anyways, we could talk some wrestling because today wasn't bad. I actually kind of enjoyed tonight's.
Yep. I think today was better than last week's.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. Except for I did enjoy the tag match for the women's last week, so that's one difference that I have. But it was all in all, it was a pretty solid show.
All right, so we're gonna start it off with Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin. I thought this match was good. I didn't like the outcome personally. I think that one thing that we're constantly seeing in AEW is the heels keep losing.
Yeah, they really do. It's this weird dynamic where I don't know what the point of like Taz and Brian Cage are anymore. Yeah.
Hello, Derek. Yeah, Red Velvet is awesome.
I kept that the minute she came out there, I was like, girl, I love this girl. Like she's smooth, she's a good wrestler.
Red Velvet is who Brandy Rhodes wishes she was.
Oh, shots fired. It's only been like what, 2 minutes? Has it been 2 minutes since the
Wait, did I go too far?
I mean, like, but we'll hit the women's match basically to like Brandy's face. Jesus. No, but Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin, it's a good head-to-toe match. I like it. I wish it would have been some sort of way that neither person would have won cleanly or lost cleanly. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want it to be another loss for like Team Taz. Because what I was gonna say is like, what's the point? What's the point of Brian Cage and and his belt and Darby? I mean, Ricky Starks when he's like, oh, we train assassins or something like that. It's like, well, you're training a bunch of losers at this point because I don't know what the end game is. You guys can't win. He is. I love Turtles. I love him. Like when you said that, you tweeted it, right? Whoever wins gets to keep the face paint. And I'm like, you know what? Darby is, I know that's his thing, and I know it's a stupid thing to put out there. But man, Ricky Starks could pull off that emo look super hard. Like it is
that dead face that he does.
He comes out so depressed. It's like if 2020 was a person and he was tired of like screwing up everybody's life, that's Ricky Starks' Darby Allin. Yeah. He has no motivation whatsoever. But yeah, no, good match. It's just one of those things. It's like, damn, Ricky can't come up from Dark to win a match on Dynamite. Same thing with Brian Cage. He's on Dark. He wins a match. He can't come up to Dynamite and win. So it's a little defeating the purpose at this point when they have people winning on one thing versus the other. But if you want me to care about what they're doing on Dark, once again, you have to bring validation to Dark. Make it important.
Yeah, that's the same thing with like Shawn Spears. That's the same thing with Proud and Powerful. You have them dominating on Dark, and then
Scorpio Sky.
They come up to Dynamite, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie though, this match was entertaining.
It was a good match.
It was a good match. I think that Ricky Starks played well to Darby's skill set. I still think Darby has a lot of growing up to do in wrestling, but yeah, like I think Derek's agreeing with us here.
Yeah, it was definitely a good opener. It was one of those unexpected, like it's going to be a good match, but you don't know how good it's going to be till you see it. Kind of like we got Wardlow and Luchasaurus. Like that was a match that you didn't expect to be like, damn. But it's just Darby wouldn't have hurt Darby to lose though, because you have to have faith in your characters and their personas. The same thing when it comes to people like Cody. Cody can move and still keep his character.
Especially if you wanted to continue this storyline where Darby hates Ricky. Like if he already beat Ricky, then what's the point?
Yeah, and if there's no belts on the line, I don't see why a loss would matter so much. It would be a rubber match. Make it a rubber match.
It could have been where Darby could have came back and said like, okay, you beat me in a wrestling match, but can you beat me in my match? And then move on to a hardcore. Because Darby already beat him in a hardcore match. Remember when he did that skateboard to the back? And now he beat him in a singles match. So technically this feud should be over. But it's not. But it's not going to be.
No, and that sucks because like once again, like you have somebody.
Yeah, it was a good match. That's what they both have really good chemistry. So I was kind of hoping that at least Ricky, if not winning cleanly, could have taken the win, so that at least there would have been something to stretch this feud out with. Because I like how Ricky is using that whole making fun out of Darby's look, and it's elevating both of them in a way where you're interested in seeing who's going to come on top. But unfortunately, when you constantly have one side coming on top, then there's no point for the babyface to even care about what the heel does anymore.
Yep, I totally agree. It's okay for some of these people to lose.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for the to lose because they're more powerful in a way when they overcome the odds.
Yeah,
he should have lost. I mean, I'm so aggravated.
To take it into outside of wrestling, if Luke Skywalker would have beat Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, then there would have been no point for Return of the Jedi. Like you have to have your baby faces lose, so they have to overcome the heel, and it makes it even better when they win. But if you constantly have your baby face beating their rival, then it's like, why do we even care about it anymore?
Yeah, because what real threat would be Starks at this point?
Oh man, I don't want Darby versus Cage. Anytime they put them in there, it just looks so fake. Like I'm sorry, I can't buy Darby actually being a challenge for Cage.
Who fought Lance Archer and it looked like that? We were saying that like he was. Oh no, it was Brody Lee and Orange Cassidy. There's some parts where Brody Lee has to be in the spot, put his body, get the momentum because it's unbelievable because he's so big. So it's the same thing with Darby. Like there's going to be moments where Darby's going to look amazing, but at the same time, it's going to be unbelievable to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And they're going to let Darby win. And it's like, Brian Cage has already lost so many times already. And that's what's going to happen to Lance Archer. So from my point, it's once again, these guys do amazing, wrestling outside of AEW, but we don't really get to see that ever showcased. It's been months already.
And if you want to see a small guy actually overcome the odds, they got to study Rey Mysterio. There was nobody like Rey Mysterio that actually made you believe that, because he would take such a beating in the beginning, especially when he went against Paul the Giant, when he went against like Kevin Nash and stuff. Like he would take a beating, but it was just his resilience and all that stuff. Like it was a lot of storytelling that Rey Mysterio did in the ring, and I'm not seeing that. Like I didn't see that with Orange Cassidy and Brody Lee. They booked them like they were one-on-one, same kind of skill set.
Yeah.
But
totally agree.
Yeah, that's just me being picky right now. I'm being really picky on AEW Dynamite because we're reaching the 1 year, and I want to see some evolution of some of the wrestlers they have.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to like when people were complaining.
Yeah, I mean, because and that's what I thought the TNT belt was going to be. It was going to be more for the mid card, like the cruiserweights. Like Orange Cassidy would have been great for that, but you have your TNT belt tied up with the heavyweights too, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah,
and then it gets you into the weird thing where it's like we haven't really seen what like Cage can do or Lance Archer to a certain extent. So to say that if they were not in the 8-man tag, which we'll get, the 8-man tournament, which we'll get into, it's like, so what? They're not at the caliber of like Paige and Kenny. Like to say that is like, it's kind of hard to believe. And it's mind you, this is from this. We were like on the other side of the spectrum. We didn't want too many big guys coming into AEW, but then seeing the people they did acquire and knowing the talent set and how they can really wrestle with everybody, we're not really seeing that. So like, I don't want like a year from now, we're like, well, Brian Cage isn't believable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that the people need to study what Ray did because there was a lot of body language and facial expressions that he did.
Openings, he took advantage of like when he get that the offense, he really took advantage of when the guy was down. He would find ways to take him out by the legs, jump on there, the coup de grace on the back. He would find ways to get them down so that he had the advantage. But he was really good.
Another guy that's really good at this, and he's not a small guy at all, but he's one guy that you don't expect him to do a lot. If you guys are watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, what Toru Yano is doing in the G1, like he is outsmarting the big strong guys. So you could do it that way too, where like you could have the go against the odds. Like Orange Cassidy would be perfect for it because his whole character is he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But they I don't know. Like I think that they're oversaturating Orange Cassidy by overexposing his gimmick.
And the sad part is you bringing up that point. Taz's little promos, like when he was breaking down Ricky Starks and breaking down Brian Cage, he's trying to make it sound like, okay, this guy's built pound for pound. Cage is a machine. He's built this. He has agility and things like that. And he's building up, like what you said, a hard person for the opponent to go against. But they're not booking it. So when it gets into the ring, the story and the dynamic, the narration of it changes. So if they went off of what Taz is trying to build, it's almost like they're counter, you know.
Yeah, Taz and Excalibur are really great at building up talent.
Yeah, and Taz has been trying to sell his team, and then all of a sudden the ring story doesn't match what he's trying to sell.
Yeah. Especially when Brian Cage lost the way he did against Moxley. And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too over picky. So if you guys think that, let me know in the comments, and I'll take a step back. But yeah, so Darby Allin beats Ricky Starks with a coffin drop to the lower back, and he pins him. So then we move on to Dasha interviewing Cody. Cody has returned. Talks about how he lost for he went through a 3-minute match and lost, and Hollywood called him, so he went and did a Hollywood show with Snoop Dogg and Rosario Dawson, and he's like, yeah, he kind of wanted just to get away from the embarrassment of what was his match. But
he's also bragging like a whole hell lot. Like he's bragging like he was a heel, which makes no sense.
But then I was gonna say Cody loves drama, so TNT is perfect for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the way they built it up too was when they tell him like, "Hey, do you want this collar match?" and he says no, and then walks away. I was like, yeah.
But then when he shared a photo of his daddy in a collar match, and I'm just like, come on, Cody. We already talked about this on Twitter like 2 days ago. So but I mean, yeah, he's good for it, the good storylines. It's funny because I know a lot of people are tired of like the Elite, and he would technically is one of the people that was in the Elite. But I gotta hand it to Cody. He kept it fresh. Even though when people did lose against him for the TNT title, the matches were good. They were entertaining. And it gave you a moment of like, oh, crap, is he going to lose? Yeah. And that's, and like, I'm really trying to. Thank you.
That's what we were hoping for. We were hoping that Moxley, since he had the FTW belt, he could have just like, beat up Moxley,
when it happened.
Get DQ'd, and then he could have just been like, I don't care about your belt because I have the FTW belt. This was never about that belt. And then it would have made him look like the Machine, like some guy that what the FTW belt represents, somebody that doesn't really care about the official belts because they have their own belts. But having him pass out, like, I know that they were like, oh, we're going to protect him because he's not going to tap out. But having him pass out, just kind of like, oh, okay.
Well,
no. It was a towel. It was a towel.
Taz doing a towel.
Yeah, the pass out was Brody Lee. And Eddie Kingston now. Yeah, it was the towel.
Yeah, it's just this towel thing. And I'm just like, are we seriously doing it? We had one with Cody. We had one with Brian Cage. Because MJF doing a towel. Yeah, right? He looks a little like Jack White or something.
I like the outfit. His hair looks
It's a little too dark. It's a little too dark. And that's the person that wasn't always a fan of the like light colors. I kind of like the in-between colors, but that's just me being picky on his stupid hair. But once again, like I liked what Cody was doing with the belt. There was moments where you made it feel like, oh my God, this could possibly happen. But I always feel like we don't really get that with Mox. I feel like there's always like Mox is just going to win. There's not a moment where it's like he really looks like he's going to pass out. I don't know. I don't have the believability in the matches sometimes with Mox. And I do enjoy his matches, but I think Cody has probably been a better champion so far, like in the last couple of months, because I think Jericho did a good job being, the champion too. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. So much writing. That's not good.
I'm hoping that Lance Archer. Sorry, I'm hoping Lance Archer actually wins the belt, but I'm not holding my breath on that. I think Moxley is going to come out as the champion.
Yeah, he's going to have the belt for Full Gear. Yeah. So then we get into a little promo video interview thingy and backstage with FTR, Tully, and Tony Schiavone. And they're just talking about the tag teams and everything else, and the Young Bucks, and why they should get another chance because the Young Bucks haven't won anything.
Yeah.
And it's true. Out of all of them, they're the ones that kind of never really were on the pedestal. They kind of always fell short, and it's a good look for them to build themselves that way. But then it also sucks because like we knew when FTR was going to come in, this was going to take the tag team away from another potential tag team, like Lucha Bros, even Jurassic Express, Proud and Powerful, things like that. But yeah, I think FTR and Tully, they do a good job like setting up the matches. I do get a little more invested. I think they're really good on their mic skills and stuff like that. We all know that. But yeah, and then Matt Jackson, man, with that horrible super kick to Tony Schiavone.
That was actually really good. They hit the mic, so it sounded harder than I'm sure that they hit Schiavone. But the way that they just came, that was like one of my favorite super kicks that they've done.
Yeah.
The one that they did to Marquez, I was just kind of like, okay, that was unnecessary. But this one was just good. They were interviewing FTR. FTR was already throwing some shade at the Young Bucks, and then this was like Bullet Club Young Bucks. This was.
And I like when they were like, we're right here. You could have super kicked us, not the old guys. Like they were so mad they were being ignored, and it was kind of funny. But before this, if you guys are not on Twitter, it was funny to see that the Young Bucks were like, we just sent you over PayPal money to Tony Khan. So they knew they were going to do this, and they were sending over money. So it's a pretty cool little setup to something. Like you knew somebody was going to get kicked. So it's kind of like I forgot about it until later on when somebody retweeted it, and I was like, damn, I could have been ready for it. But
right? They messed up his phone, and now his chin.
I mean, he moved away from the camera so quickly on Impact. So Tony's really good for selling it. That was a pretty awesome little segment.
Yeah.
So then we get into the SCU versus FTR for the tag team match. Hangman comes out on commentary. Before they go out, Sean Spears is kind of telling them like good luck, blah blah blah, giving them kind of side eye to SCU, which is Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian in this match. For me, unfortunately, I wasn't that invested. I had a problem with this match that every dark they have been building of Scorpio Sky as this amazing singles man. They just basically said it with the Benjamin Carter match. They're like, it's good to see Scorpio go on his own, and then like the next week we have him in a tag match. So I was bothered by this because he didn't look like he was in it. I don't know, like it wasn't the same, like, this is the worst. Yeah. Like he didn't have the same feeling. And that's okay if he wants to grow his character. I do miss the funny, like Scorpio. I miss the investment he had with SCU and the bits they would do together. I miss him being funny, doing his little TikTok videos. He's clever. He's hilarious. But it does a disservice to him when he's trying to act a certain way, and then you get pushed together and you give him another match which he loses. Yeah. On Dynamite again, which again back to the whole you win on Dark but you lose on Dynamite.
Yeah. For this one, I felt that it was okay for them to lose. I think this is the end of Scorpio Sky actually being a part of an SCU tag team. I think that he'll still be with SCU, but I think the writing's on the wall. They're kind of moving on from this whole SCU thing. They haven't really been doing that whole SCU. This is the worst town. Maybe because there's no crowd, but they just haven't had those moments anymore. Like they were the crowd favorites from the beginning of AEW, and they just haven't been giving them the time. So this just kind of felt like a swan song. Like, hey, thank you guys. Yeah. We put the belts on you guys. So we're gonna give you one last shot. SCU looked really good in this match.
Yeah, they did. Of course they did.
Yeah, and for me it was. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to take the belts off FTR so quick, but I mean it's better than having them against the Best Friends right away, because it seems like that's what they're going to build up. They're going to build them up against the Best Friends, and the Best Friends have been constantly put on the title picture. So at least this was a tag team that we haven't seen in a while, so it was kind of refreshing in that way.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely bring the skills. It was still a good match. Just for me, it's like I know they went back full circle, the first tag team champions and things like that. But going back to what you said, like the whole like this is the worst town thing. They have a shirt they just released. This is the worst Halloween I've ever been to. So I'm just like you're capitalizing on a saying that he hasn't done in months.
Yeah.
And so is the character dead? Is the character not dead? And I know you're just building on, old merch and old promos. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I want the very best for Scorpio Sky. Whatever. He took a bump. Yes. And a lot of people don't agree with that. I think Moxley is a better champion chasing the title. He looks good when he's chasing it. He looks unhinged.
Yeah.
He looks crazed. He looks almost manic, and now it's like he's trying to come off as this persona. But once again, I have to make it so I'm supposed to disbelief that any of these other talents are not as good as him. And that's hard to, because some of them are good. They're amazing talents. And I would like to see a match where there's an upset and then he can get the belt back. There's nothing wrong with losing the belt and getting it back. That's, people do that all the time in other promotions. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what price Mox is probably going to have the title past Full Gear. That's just
because on Full Gear, I'm predicting that the tournament that they're having, because they announced that they're going to have a tournament. Oh, well, we could just go into it. So the match ends with before we go to the tournament, that ending, I'm tired of the way that they set up these things, because AEW referees look like some of the worst referees in wrestling.
Yeah.
Scorpio Sky clearly had his leg on the rope, but they were trying to sell the whole Tully thing. So the ref, it completely ignores it when it's like, you got to do an audible there and just be like, no, we're going to try this over again.
Yeah. And it's only the FTR matches. It's only when they're trying to work with Tully. Like, they can't get the timing or the perspective right to make it believable. Like, you got to really stretch it. And there's ways to do that. It's a little harder when there's like no crowds and things like that, to suspend disbelief. But yeah, no, I think this is like the third match that's happened already. And somebody did on Reddit had a whole video compilation of all the times the ref was like one was staring straight at Tully when it happened. It's just like little things like that we pick up, at home watching it. That might be different from when they're recording it, of course.
But that's the thing. This was recorded, and there was no audience. They could have like just reshot that whole thing. It just, I don't know.
That's hard. The sequence was hard, though. This sequence is hard. The other ones, I think there was one. The first one that happened, it could have been reshot. This was sequence that they had leading up to that part. Could have maybe been hard to build that momentum, but
yeah, it's hard for the refs. And it's not that I'm saying that the refs are bad. It's just there's a lot of spots that happen and all this stuff. But they need to stop burying their talent the way that they write these storylines. Yeah. Like last week, when the ref right away called for the victory for Moxley, when they didn't even lift the arm on Eddie, it was like super fast that he just like, oh, it's over. Like, how do you know he's unresponsive? Like, I don't know. They keep burying the refs, and this was just another one of those spots, especially since the ref kicks Christopher Daniels out without even ever seeing Christopher Daniels actually taking part. But then Tully clearly intervenes once, and the ref goes over there and tells him, hey, don't do this again.
Yeah.
So it's just the way that they're writing their matches.
What they could have done, they showed Shawn Spears for no reason right now. What they could have had was ejected Tully, Shawn Spears go through the crowd, come over the barricade and interfered for FTR, and that would have confirmed the fact that they are together. That would have been a little bit more of a sell, and that probably would have made it more entertaining, but they're probably not going to do that yet if Shawn Spears is in that clique. But that would have been a nice save. They could have done that.
Yeah. That's what I thought they were going with when they showed Shawn Spears.
Yeah. I thought that was it was a weird little.
Yeah.
Like
it's like a little Easter egg kind of thing. Like, hey, pay attention because look, things are going on.
Then Hangman's on commentary. He's depressed and drinking. So then we get into Taz and Excalibur and everybody announcing the 8-man tournament announced for AEW Championship. They announced the first 3, which was Jungle Boy, Rey Fenix, and then he says Kenny Omega, and Hangman literally, he loses his soul from his body for a second. And basically dies on himself. And he's like, you okay? And he looked not okay. But going to your Full Gear thing, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so my prediction is it's going to be Hangman versus Kenny at Full Gear, setting up for Kenny versus Moxley on their following pay-per-view, which would be Revolution.
Yeah, because Double or Nothing's after Revolution. They got to keep up, man. They got to write faster. But yeah, it's interesting tournament. I know Jack feels a certain way about it. I think as long as they pick certain people that I know they can highlight. I know I don't like certain people losing, like Phoenix, if he's going to be somebody going against Matthew. Hey, bro. If they go against somebody like, if it's going to be Kenny and Phoenix, yes, Phoenix is going to take the loss, but I really do hope they put a showcase on to happen in AAA and they make him shine. They make you remember that he is Ray Phoenix and he has a lot of talent. So however this goes, I hope Hangman and Kenny, if they are the last two, make everybody else look hella good, because that's what we want.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if there was some sort of upset. Maybe Hangman gets through and Kenny doesn't. Kenny goes cleaner, makes him lose his opportunity. Like there could be different ways to tell the story.
Yeah, I think that they have to finish this Hangman Kenny Omega story so that both of them can move on to something more. And I'll give AEW props for actually doing a tournament. I was saying that they need to do something so that we don't get the same stuff repeated. So at least I'll give them that. At least they're doing a tournament. It could be interesting. We could see some cool matchups here. This is something different. I really like the tournaments.
Yeah.
I really doubt it, but God, if that happens, I'll be so happy. But then I would be like, nope, Moxley's just gonna beat Ray.
Either way, for me, it's like if Kenny wants to pay back Moxley for what happened at Double or Nothing, he could interfere with anybody. If he loses, he could still interfere. If he wins, he could still interfere. So he's a wild card for me, in my opinion, to whoever would win the tournament if it isn't him.
Yeah, but, I just think the writing's on the wall, and they're gonna put the belt on heel Kenny. So it'll be interesting because then you have because you have so many baby faces, you have an opportunity to actually build some more baby faces.
Yeah, definitely.
Up to Kenny. Yep. So then we go into the Isiah Kassidy versus Chris Jericho. Isiah Kassidy looked good. Chris Jericho looked like he's been wrestling for 30 years.
He did. He has quarantine life has not treated him well. He looked a lot better when we had crowds and everything was going on. I don't know if he's just too comfortable or he's not. I mean, I don't think he's scared of anything. He should be hitting the gyms. He's doing shows. I mean, like I could say all these really, really sarcastic things, but yeah, I'm sorry, Primos. I'm sorry. He's hitting those shows.
Yeah.
No mask on and stuff. But no, Isiah looked amazing. He was carrying the match at some points. He looked a lot. This is probably one of his more finessed and more refined matches he had. I'm very glad for him. He's one of the guys I really do. I love Private Party. They're a really good tag team. They're just young and they just need to just advance, get better, work it out. Like Jungle Boy has gotten better.
Yeah. Kenny needs to go back to his New Japan Pro Wrestling style kind of matches.
Yeah.
And stop with so much of the theatrics that they put around it.
Yeah.
It's not working for him.
It can't do like body lifts. It's like that becomes if he needs that vial at this point because he's looking a little. And I like Jericho, but he's questionable at some times. Like
I think I don't know. I think 30 years is a good run. For him to be at the top, I think this is the time where he might do a step back and let some of the younger talent take over.
Yeah, we didn't even mention during the Cody thing that the whole locker room came out for like no damn reason.
Oh yeah, I hate those segments where everybody empties out.
You can stay home and count that money.
I like Jericho in commentary.
So we'll get to the next part. We'll get to a part where MJF and Jericho did a thing, and that's my thing. He's good at that.
Yeah,
he's good at that. But we'll get into that. But going back real quick to the Cody and locker room thing. I'm sad that like I was more invested to see like Anna Jay and Brandy whoop each other's ass. I really do love Anna Jay. Like she's improved a lot. I just like the fact that Nyla came out and man, who was it? Was it Killian?
I think it was Killian King.
Oh God, that girl got her head knocked back so hard.
But you know what it's setting up? Anna Jay beat Brandy already, so I guess Brandy's building up to beat Anna Jay.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's go to the next one now.
So yeah, Chris Jericho wins against Isiah Kassidy. and it sets up for Luther versus and Serpentico versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager.
Yep.
So I think this was hopefully Jericho's last singles match for a while.
I guess, like, which is sad too because we don't need any more tag teams.
Yeah, but I would rather have him in tag team right now, so that other people could get opportunities in singles, like maybe Sammy Guevara from the Inner Circle or somebody else.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm glad that he did a singles tonight though, because Isiah, we never would have gotten Isiah. So I mean, that's cool that he actually gave him a lot of spots to do his thing. But then we get into a Kip and Miro video where Kip is kind of like, bachelor stuff, help me. And Miro's like, God, this is too much pressure.
Yeah.
Can't handle it.
I like that they're playing off on the fact that they're both Twitch streamers and video game players. And so Kip is just super excited for his wedding, and Miro is having a nervous breakdown. He's trying to figure out how to be the best man and planning for the bachelor party. And then we get to a point where, like, Miro is kind of getting a little annoyed by Kip. Did you pick that up, or was that just me?
No, I think he's like, I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but he's getting annoyed. I don't know if it's annoyance or just like nervousness, but he kind of gave him the side eye a few times. But that could just be like, we're so used to Miro being a heel, you know, at certain points. I'm not really sure if it's that or not. I'm interested to see where this goes. If it ends up being Kip versus Miro, that'd be kind of cool.
So then we get the Billy Mitchell cameo. If you're not a gamer, you probably have no idea who he was. He is the current record holder for Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah, Pac-Man too.
And he did have Pac-Mans for a while, but I think he's known for the fact that
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, because Donkey Kong has been disputed, and so Guinness gave him the record, but the video game record thing doesn't. So it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the storyline. Anyways, they're just playing off on the fact that they play video games.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. He's gonna see, because his WWE wedding was ruined. He didn't have one. He had to watch his wife get remarried to somebody. So he's all about destroying the wrestling type weddings. And I could totally see that angle. But like I said, I really want to pay off. Can we just do a quick little shout out to Kip wearing a crop top? He's like the most comfortable man I've ever seen walk around in a crop top next to like Sunny. He did. He does want to be Amish. Miro's just so good. Like, I'm really happy to have him on. I hope he's doing okay, because it looked like he did tweak something last week.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him get in a little promo shot. I hope he does another little vignette or things like that for next week, because I don't want people to forget that he is an acquired talent, and he is a talented individual. So, but we get into a little FTR and best friends with Dasha backstage. And this is kind of already what Jack was talking about. Best friends once again inserting himself into some sort of tag team thing.
Yeah. I want to go back and count how many times they've had a title shot. I think they've had the most title shots out of any tag team. And
I really feel like and I'm not saying a lot of it comes from this too, but like the Critical Botch D&D that they're doing with Brandon and Colt, and who else is there? Peter Avalon and
Levo. Yeah.
And it's what they're like fan favorites. Their characters are ridiculous. I feel like this is a lot to do with fan service too, because a lot of people are invested in these three individuals with Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. It sucks though, because like there's so many other people that they could be. Yeah. Even just do the challenge, like FTR versus Santana and Ortiz. Just do the challenge.
I mean, that's what they did today with Moxley. But this is another thing where AEW does social media and all this stuff, and they invest on their characters there, when in fact only like 500 people watch Critical Botch.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of people that actually watch Critical Botch. So a lot of people don't really know that they're doing Critical Botch. And they might be the favorite of those 500 people in Critical Botch, but for the rest of the people that don't watch BTE, that don't follow them on social media, that don't follow them on Twitch.
Yeah, they don't get 500,000 on BTE every week. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
so
anywhere
it's
near
just,
that.
Like, I'm not saying bury the best friends. You could have the best friends do something here and there, but you got to have some other tag teams kind of compete.
Especially if FTR is playing dirty. Like, I wouldn't mind FTR going against Santana Ortiz and a Tully interference. Like, I wouldn't have,
I think people that pay for the tickets, I think they put them on sale.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's cool that they're like doing their thing and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where it's like, Butcher and the Blade. You have the Lucha Bros. You have Proud and Powerful. You could still have them do their matches. You could even have Sonny and Joey Janela, if you want to do it, because they're cheating. So it doesn't matter if they lose to FTR, because it's almost like, an undignified win for them anyways, but they don't care. They're the heels. And you could still do heel versus heel, because FTR should be like, we're the best in the division. Just go against everybody and give us those matches, because they deserve to be highlighted as a tag team. And FTR does put out good matches. Every week they fought against a tag team, they've put out a good match. And that's what I want to see. So before the whole Bucks go back and forth and they do their thing, I want to see other tag teams get a chance to go against FTR before that happens.
Yeah. So then we go Orange versus 10. I thought this was a good match.
Yeah.
But this is one of those matches where I'm like, you could have. I know you got to put Orange Cassidy somewhere because people love Orange Cassidy, but you don't have to give Orange Cassidy every week. This is the thing. It goes back to the thing where I was saying where they're overexposing Orange Cassidy's gimmick. His gimmick is the guy that doesn't really care. That kind of like is the King of Sloth style. But when you give them to us every week, it kind of takes away a little bit of the special that is Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. He's not a sloth anymore.
No, he hasn't been doing that as much. But it's just like there's certain gimmicks that you got to protect. And I think his is one that you got to protect because people really like him. And if you overdo it, it kind of takes away a little bit of the polish.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to let Dark Order get some wins.
Dark Order is never going to get any wins.
It's like, what's the purpose of like them being one of the most popular things that happen?
Because even in AEW Dark, the Dark Order is losing.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to like what you said about BT. Like, if you're not invested in those things, you don't know that like there are these different types of personalities.
So it's just, I would not be surprised if Cody beats Brody Lee. Yeah, I'll just say that right now.
Yeah, I do miss the weekly challenges though.
Yeah, but it's just Brody was just a space holder then.
Yeah, that's true. He built it up okay though. He's held it down.
But it's just once he loses that belt, that's the end of the Dark Order. They have nothing to hold on to other than Anna Jay. But if Brandy beats Anna Jay, then what's the Dark Order? I mean, the Dark Order was supposed to like elevate you from being losers into winners, and none of them have been really winning.
Yeah, and Coco Ben, I think, won more before he was in a Dark Order.
Yeah, Joe's saying they get stale, and yeah, that could happen with a lot of these special kind of gimmicks, and not even just the gimmicks. I mean, for me, Moxley, and I think it's because he needs the crowd, but he has not had the same momentum that he had since he won the belt, and it might be because there's no crowds there, and I think he feeds off a lot of the crowd.
He's kind of like the embodiment of like the fan against the like the persona, the machine. He's he's brassy. He goes against the the grind on everything, and he comes off a certain way. And so when there's no crowd there, that energy, that look, that feeling of like people behind him, like that's the guy. He kind of loses his magic, and it's not a gimmick, but it's the magic that Mox has. Still a damn good wrestler. It loses a little bit of what they have. But when you have people like Kenny Omega who can have a crowd, not have a crowd, but still kind of have something amazing about him, it's just a little bit difference in just characters. But that's how they present themselves too. So I think Mox is doing a lot better now that he has like these sort of kind of like gimmicky things that he's been doing, coming out with a bag, coming out from different sides, coming out with like Will Hobbs. That kind of helps a little bit too, because that's a different dynamic. But I don't know where it's going to go from here. So yeah, Orange Cassidy picks up the win. And then we get into one of my favorite segments of tonight, which was MJF going into Jericho's backstage room with the Inner Circle, and he brings gifts. It is like Christmas morning for the Inner Circle, except for Sammy. Not you, Sammy.
Yeah, this is what we talked about last week. Is that MJF is going to get into the Inner Circle, and he's going to break it from within.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna officially break the inner circle or if he's gonna make some moves for him to become the leader of the inner circle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just funny. He brings out jackets. They're personalized. He tosses one to Hager, tosses one to Ortiz and Santana, who are like not moving at all. That is like the Hispanic minority thing. It's like you already like, what are you doing here? You're like on the defense already. He passes one to Jericho, and then he's like looks at the box. It's empty. Tells Wardlow, "You messed up." Whereas Sammy's just like, "Of course, yeah, you don't like me." And then it goes a little tit for tat. They go back and forth, and then they're like, "What are you doing here?" And then it gets louder, and so like Sammy's like, "Why are you here?" Jericho tells him that. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
he definitely wants Sammy's spot. Poor Sammy. The one part that was funny though is like when Jericho's like, "So what do you want to do?" Like Maxwell, and then like it's almost like for the first time MJF not like backs down, but he's a little intimidated, just a little. You don't hardly ever see that in him, but it's Jericho and he bucks up.
Yep.
And then you have Hager and Wardlow. There's so much testosterone in this room, and then you have the minorities in the middle just going like eating their popcorn.
What I liked was that Santana Ortiz did not want MJF there at all. They had these faces like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And when they get their jackets, they don't care. But Sammy in the background is waiting for his jacket, and when he doesn't get one, I like that whole little thing that they did.
And he's a child still.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, gifts." And
he's like, "Hey man, what about mine?" But
Santana didn't even move. The jacket hit him in the face, and he just sits there and just, "I didn't ask for this."
Yeah. Yeah, but they've been teasing the whole Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara a while back before they went into a feud where Matt Hardy was saying, "I see something in you. You're being manipulated by Jericho." So they've been teasing Sammy turning face. So I could see Sammy leaving the inner circle, and then MJF taking his spot, and then Jericho's contract ends, I believe, sometime in the beginning of next year. So MJF might be the one that retires him or something
for a few months.
Yeah, Jericho said he wanted to be a commentator, so he might end up being commentator or work with creative. I think that he's super talented when it comes to coming up with storylines,
putting over people,
actually finding talent, and look what he did for Orange Cassidy. Look what he did for Jungle Boy. He's a guy that kind of finds something in somebody and elevates them. Even what he did with Pineapple Pete, even just putting him over on some of the darks where he was just saying like, "Oh, I hate Pineapple Pete," and it just became such a thing that he ended up helping Pineapple Pete get put over with that.
Yeah, and then people found more about him. They liked him as his persona, Shug Dane, stuff like that. Got more invested in his independent stuff. Yeah, and then once again, he's putting over Wardlow hearts. But he's putting over MJF. MJF just took a loss to Moxley. We didn't know where that was going. Immediately after that loss, and Jericho had his loss against Orange Cassidy, you got this little bit between the two of them. And once again, he's putting over another town. We have MJF now, who is, we all could admit that he's not the greatest in-ring performer as of right now, but he's a good promo guy. He can do amazing promos. So now we have this whole thing going on with both of them. Yeah, he's gonna be there, but like in ring, we're talking about just like not be in ring for a little bit, kind of like what Matt needs to do, step back just a little bit. But Jericho could always come back. I hope he comes back a little more fit. I know it's a little hard at a certain point.
Well, I know. I think today officially Matt Cardona's contract with the AEW ended.
Really?
Yeah. So he's a free agent again.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do with people getting positive on things and people going indie and coming back, and it's getting a little bit sticky. We have a Warrior where a lot of people couldn't come because of things, people were getting sick and stuff like that.
And again, Jericho was supposed to leave earlier this year.
Yeah.
To tour with his band Fozzy, and I think that he's thinking that he could set up to leave again and do his cruise and go on a tour. But if things don't go the way that he's thinking, he might have to just do some more AEW Dynamites than he thought again.
But I'm enjoying this. I'm invested in this storyline. It's probably one of the few storylines besides Kenny Omega and Hangman that I'm really invested in. Yeah, I really want to see where this goes. This is one of those things where I don't need a ring match. I don't need a 10-minute promo. I just need like 3-5 minutes of them talking, and I'm good for like another week. So we get into Britt Baker finally making her officially cleared debut back into the AEW ring versus Red Velvet. We had mentioned earlier, we love Red Velvet. She is an amazing talent. I hope they do acquire her. I think she can go a long way. She has her persona. She stirs it up.
Yeah.
She got it going.
My thing is, I don't think they will actually offer her a contract for the mere fact that
she was on Mission Pro too.
She is what Brandy wants to be, and I'm gonna say that again. Like, she has a similar in-ring style that Brandy's going for, but she's a lot cleaner.
I think she mentioned that with Little Brand, and then Red Velvet got pissed, and that's why they had that match.
Okay,
I think it was like an actual tease, but I think they just need more diversity. They really don't in the women's division because they're all diverse. Like, it's a really good diverse division, but we need to sign these diverse people. We need to sign Red Velvet. What was that?
No, he said.
Oh yeah.
And then he's saying Impact coming around to get, I mean, Impact is building some really cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I would like to see them. I would like to see, Red Velvet is all elite. Diamante is all elite. I like to see things like that. Evilise is all elite. Please give me more of all elite and some women's names, because we need to get more than just one women's match at exactly 8:30 every Wednesday almost. It's always the second hour.
And this is why I was saying the Orange Cassidy was not really needed. You could have had a women's match there.
Yeah.
And this is another week where the champion, the women's champion, is not really highlighted.
No.
I know that she had the tag team match last week, but then this week we don't even see her.
Yeah, at least give her like a promo, bumping into somebody in the backstage area. Oh my contact.
They don't even have a challenger for her for Full Gear.
It's probably gonna be Nyla.
But they haven't even done anything with Nyla. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no
Nyla
story.
went over to Barricade. She has Vicky Guerrero. I mean, I guess we're supposed to just put the pieces together. There's
no story for the women's division right now.
I know. Full Gear is right around the corner. We have no setup for the women's title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she's very.
No offense, but cleaner than Brandy. Like,
she's way better.
I have a lot of credit for Brandy, not putting her girl down. But as she always says, she's the brand officer of AEW too, and she's a wrestler. So sometimes you can't be a jack of all trades while at least one of your trades not being perfect. Red Velvet's a wrestler, and you see it. It comes clear in her wrestling.
Yeah. So. Impact, NWA, and AEW seems like they're going to be working with each other.
Yeah. But yeah, we get into, after that, we have Eddie Kingston coming in and talking about who he's gonna have Moxley fight, because he gets to pick his next opponent, because he didn't tap out, he didn't pass out, he didn't do none of that.
Yeah, I thought this was a missed opportunity. They could have had Eddie Kingston say like, I'm choosing your next opponent, it's me. It would have been such an Eddie Kingston move to do.
Yes, in the most ignorant voice too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or this could have been a good chance for Pentagon to go against Moxley. That match would have been amazing.
Nope, but instead, no offense, but we get the Butcher, which wasn't a bad match starting off, but it looked like he was getting a little bit winded at the end. He did a lot of amazing moves too. He's a very heavy lifter, so he was throwing around Mox a few times, but it was inevitable that Mox was going to win.
Yeah.
It didn't have the same like feeling at the end. Like it felt like there was a little little deflation at the end of the match. It probably would have been different if it was Pentagon. I like that pickup that you had on that. If it was, even if it was interference to try to get Pentagon to win, and then Moxley capitalized, costing Phoenix the match, because there's already a little riff, and I don't think the Lucha Bros should stay with Eddie Kingston that long, so they could have built on something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. This was just I get that they're having Moxley be the fighting champion. It's great to see the champion the championship be defended, but it was just wins matter. They tell us wins matter, wins matter, wins matter.
Any singles match with Pentagon should be.
But then
I'm biased though.
Yeah. But then if wins matter, but then we get Butcher be the guy to challenge Moxley.
That's what we thought. We were like, did he get over? Did he cross?
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, everybody wants to see the flying magic man do his what is it? Broken arrow. Yeah. I always forget his move, but it's. I mean, seeing that move live, it's insane. That guy's so agile.
Yeah. But yeah, the match was good for the Butcher. I think that it helped the Butcher get a little bit over as a big guy.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't hurt him. Some people, don't. It doesn't really hurt them to lose. Like, I'm glad that he had the opportunity because we got to see him do a lot more things by himself. But like I said, we were just saying that he looked a little gassed at some point. Yeah. Like man, he looked tired. I was like, end the match already. I think 15 minutes was a little bit too long.
Yeah, it was too long. But yeah, this was a good show. It had really good matches in there. I think that the SCU FTR match was also that went a little long, and Orange Cassidy versus 10 was unnecessary, and they could have had a women's match stuck there somewhere in the middle. And it still would have been a great show. I mean, the show was awesome. Yeah,
I liked it. I liked it when Cody did. That's the only thing that I have to agree that Cody had the belt again and he was going to go that way. I hope he doesn't go like heelish and decide not to do that. I would prefer him to do what he did before because it got me excited. It got me excited to see Sunny Kiss. It got me excited to see Warhorse, the things like that. There was a little bit of a different buzz on the title. And not to say Brody's a bad champion. No, he makes it entertaining too in his own right. But I do agree with you, Joe, that I do like the title being defended every week.
But that's why somebody like Joey Janela could have won the belt and could have defended it every week.
Ricky Starks,
like Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston. I don't know. You could have given it to somebody else that's a little bit smaller that you could put the rest of your roster, since your roster is a lot smaller than somebody that could go against Brody. Give it to a babyface that's going to be a fighting challenge, fighting open challenges and all that stuff. That's what the TNT belt should have continued to be.
Jungle Boy would have looked great with it.
Yeah, but if you didn't want to give it to somebody like that right away, even Rey Fenix winning it, or
Wardlow, like this, like where MJF chooses his opponents.
Yeah.
Because he has something to prove for the both of them. Like that would have been an angle they could have pulled because we all know Wardlow is buying his time. He's going to leave,
Yeah. I mean, Ricky Starks would be great for it actually, because he's great at promos. He could be that chicken shit heel that's pretending to be a fighting champ but always finds a way to cheat, or not necessarily cheat all the time. Because I do like when heels get clean wins.
Yeah,
but just be super cocky about it, and it makes whatever babyface you want to elevate to chase for the TNT belt that much stronger once he's actually defeated.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. But they definitely need to mix it up a little bit.
Hey, hello, Victor.
Hey, Victor.
I like that James Storm could be good for AEW, but I think Paige needs to stay singles for a little bit. That's the only thing where I'm at. Yeah. I think they're setting him up to be the baby face of the company.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah. I don't know why they don't like titles. Like every company has a lot of titles. I mean, not a lot, but like
New Japan has a ton.
But like, like Impact, but it's a smaller roster.
Mm-hmm.
And like and they're trying to utilize their guys. That's why we get so many tag matches. They're trying to utilize the people that they have, and they do a lot of spots where more people come out. And that's something we don't see WWE do because they have a lot of people too. But Impact has a smaller group, so we get to see the matches with the people for the belts and things like that. And New Japan, they do, like you say, they do different types of tournaments. They do like, block 1, block 2, they have all these different things so you can see all their talent too. Mm-hmm. I think AEW is missing an opportunity because we do want to see this talent. We're invested in this talent. So I
think that's why that tournament's going to be good though, because we're going to see people that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much, guys. We are sorry we weren't here for Impact yesterday. We decided to torture ourselves and watch a different type of wrestling, which was the presidential debate. But Impact was good. Shout out to the girls' tag match. That was amazing.
We're gonna try to do Impact on this Saturday since they're having
Yes.
their Impact Plus exclusive pay-per-view.
Yeah, and then we're gonna try doing something different. We're gonna probably do some streaming on Twitch, some gaming while we talk about Raw and SmackDown. So that'd be kind of our live reactions to that while we're playing Marvel beat 'em up games, stuff like that. Yeah, so we're trying to do something fun here besides just always doing this.
Yep, and also we're reviewing They Live, so
yes.
that should be coming up soon.
Yes, They Live was so good. I haven't seen it in like at least 10 plus years. The high definition version holds up. It looks great. I miss Piper. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. That movie is so relevant for this time period. Like I think Cross put up a photo of the movie, but yeah, it's one of those. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, guys. If you haven't seen They Lived, I don't know why you haven't. And why you haven't been living your best life, but please watch that. But yeah, we will be back. The debate was a total disaster.
I've seen better high school debates than that.
Yeah.
And no, we didn't watch MLW. It's hard to watch multiple things for me. Like I can't watch NXT and Dynamite at the same time, so I just focus on Dynamite on Wednesdays, and then catch up on NXT later on in the week.
Yeah, we might try to do a small little like put together of like the G1 card, and I do want to talk about like a little bit about Mission Pro. The match that Thunder Rosa had with Priscilla Kelly was a killer match. So I would like to go back and just maybe do a special wrap up.
NWA has a new national champion. He was just crowned yesterday during the UVW show.
That match that him and that dude had, that fight, it was like a 20-minute match in a movie. I forgot about that. It was such a good movie. No, it just freaked me out as a kid. That was the movie that I remember watching because of Piper, and but it was it's so good. When is my okay, cool. Yeah, we'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
So much wrestling, so little time.
Well, that's the other thing. We should just do a recap if we get an opportunity, and there's just so much going on.
Yeah, so we'll try our best, but we want to give a little bit of love to Impact because Impact's been doing such a great job. So that's why we're really specifically hitting Impact and AEW. What a little bit of WWE. If you guys missed, most of you guys were here for our Clash of Champions, which is a good. If you guys didn't watch it,
the pay-per-view was good. I really liked it. I actually liked the Roman Reigns Uso match, the first half. The second half to me became a little too much drama. But
2 quarters. The first quarter was a good one.
Yeah, no, I thought they had good chemistry there. But that was in our review.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Hell in a Cell. I could actually say that because they actually maybe believe in a little bit of the card going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the rest of the storylines.
Yep, but we gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go to work. All right, guys. Peace out. Be safe.
All right,
Bye.
see you guys.